He said men ought always to pray and not to faint. I did a teaching on this over a year ago. I said you can be on earth. You may have 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 nose, and all of that. And by reason of biological definition, you are called a man. But when a spirit checks you, it doesn't call you a man because you have these earthly features. He says if you are a man, just in case you say you are a man, he says you ought to pray. So if you are not praying, if you are not praying, mortals may call you man, but the spirit may look at an amoeba. You know, the way we define things is not the way spirits define things. I told you yesterday, Jesus said, don't give holy things to swine. They will stamp on it. So the reason you are a swine is not because you are a pig. It's because you trample on holy things. So if you don't value holy things, you receive a gift of the spirit and it becomes something you merchandise. You are a swine. You are trampling on something that is holy. So you may call yourself a man. When the immortals check you out, they will say, okay, this one is an amoeba. Because the last time we checked, it was tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. And now he has gone the way of seductive spirits. So he doesn't have a stand in the spirit. He said, but if you are a son, if you are a man that is aligned with the government of heaven, he said, you know that it's your duty to pray and not to faint. So everyone that prevailed and established dimension in this world, they were men of the altars. When you want to check the part of their sojourning on earth, the only things you will find left behind are the altars they erected. When you follow a son, you will not find his cars because he doesn't have stable cars. Today he has dashed it out. Tomorrow you see him with another. For him, cars is a means of getting there fast. It's not for luxury. It's not for show. So you can't find him. The cars can't stay. The only thing that you can find with him are the altars that he littered everywhere. Because he knows that the only way he can ascend the mountains of God and look upon sacred things that are weapons in the hands of spirit is when he ascends. So every day he wakes up, he tries to go higher because authority in the spirit is a function of height. The higher he goes, the more he can establish the mandates of God. So every time he goes higher, he goes higher. For him, prayer is a way of ascension. And as he ascends, he noticed that there is translations and transubstantiation. So he said, as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was altered. That is how you wear your heavenly garment. You journey into height, and there's a height you get to that there is nothing that fits anymore except the celestial garments. That's why Paul said that we groan to be clothed. We groan. So every time we want to be clothed, what we do is that we groan. There is something standing that is not responding to my voice. So I need to go higher because there is another vibration that must be added to my voice in order to shift the mountain. So I ascend. I mount up with wings like the eagle. He said, have you not heard? Has it not been said to you that the everlasting God fainted not, neither is he weary? Isaiah chapter 40 verse 28. He said he giveth power to the faint, and unto them that have no might he increases strength. He now began to show you something, that mortals must fail no matter how strong they are. The only way to enter into an energy that does not deplete is by gaining ascendancy into Zion. He said even the youth shall faint and the young men shall utterly fall. Because in the ranking of mortals, the strongest are the young men. But he said in spiritual business, natural strength is not an advantage. The young man shall utterly fall. He said, but they that wait upon the Lord, there's a technology that prayer brings to you. He said, they mount up with wings. They ascend into Zion. And something happened. They are re-engineered. He said, the man that was destined to faint, he said, suddenly he walks. And he never gets weary. The more he walks, the more he walks. The more he walks, the much more he walks. Because there is an energy reserve that he taps into every time he ascends. He said they will run, they will no longer faint. Who is the one that walks and is not weary and runs and not faint? In verse 28 he says God. So what has happened to that man? He has been re-engineered. He has put on Christ. He has entered into the economy of immortals. Translations, transubstantiation, ascensions into the hills of God. And when you come out like that, even the princes know you have gone somewhere, because they have been there before. They know the men that have journeyed there. They know the men that have been transubstantiated. So the same things he uses for people in the territory, he tries it, he doesn't you don't respond anymore. You have been re-engineered. The last time he checked, every young man in Ghana wants to get a beautiful damsel. Now he's floating them, you are not noticing. What is happening? He now know there's problem. This guy have gone somewhere. So he begins to check quickly. He now brings money. The job you are looking for 5 years, he said, take. Because in that job, he has set up an Arabian damsel. All of a sudden, it doesn't work. What is going on? The devil is afraid of something. It is a rise of sons. Because sons are the ones that destroy the evil one. But it's by the ascensions that we gain in the place of prayer. Why do you think the old men were wise? He said, and Abraham, Genesis chapter 12 verse 7, built an altar to the Lord that appeared to him. He littered everywhere with altars. Genesis chapter 13 verse 8, he said, and Abraham built an altar to the Lord. 13 verse 18 rather, he built an altar. He was just erecting altars everywhere. Everywhere he went, he was there, because he knew the only way he can rule among the Philistines is by the strength of his altars. And then you come to Ghana. You don't know the dark sentences that have been uttered over this land. You think you will just come and stroll, and because you have oratory, you talk 5-10 young boys into something and you say, let's gather, we'll change the world. Change which world? Do you know how the world was built? Do you know the wisdom in darkness that was invested to build this system? Do you know the sacrifices and travails in darkness that built these systems? You think people just come to campus and suddenly want to be naked? Do you know what went down? Only sons can change them and establish dynasties in God. Sons must rise in Ghana. Yeah. It's called the way of sons. The way of sons is the way of prayer. No one. The Bible said 3 times in a day, Daniel prayed facing Jerusalem. He didn't survive Babylon because he had a strong will. He needed to be sufficed every day. 3 times. That was a politician, like Daddy said. A praying politician indeed. 3 times in a day. Meanwhile, there are pastors who can't pray 3 times now. A strategy meeting upon strategy meeting. My friend said he was going for a vigil in a church. I said, okay, wow, great. I wish I could come with you. He said, no. This vigil, we they go plan some things. They were in vigil till morning. And when they came for the vigil, they prayed for 5 minutes. And each of the church branches, they will bring the strategy. Why did you people not hit this target? He said, but the people are not responding. How about this person? How about this person? I met this person in your church the last time I came. You mean these people can't give to meet this target? That was what they were checking in vigil from night till morning. And want to take the word. You reign. You ancient Zion's king. Kadosh, Kadosh. You are mighty on earth. You reign. You reign. You reign. You reign, Kadosh. Instead of manipulating people with text messages to come for the meeting, and when they come, you give them Coke and Fanta to drink so they will come next time. Carry their names to the altar. In Galatians 4:19, it said, my little children, of whom I travail again in prayer until Christ is formed in you. They know how to change things in the heavens. That's why there are princes in Zion. Because they do things from heaven, not from earth. We do everything from earth. We are mental, we are cerebral, we are strategists. But we don't have power in the realms of God. That's why we manipulate people to come to church. And we preach things they want to hear. You know, when God told me to preach alignment, I say, my fear was heavy because first people will say, who is this proud man? So you now, you think you are holy. When I battled with that one, I now came back, I said, but Lord, I don't have experience in the kingdom. What if they check my track record? Who are you to come and tell people about? I said, who be this one? Come on. I was burdened. People will say you are proud, you are arrogant. What do you know? And the Lord locked me to him for 8 months. Praying, fasting. That was when I met Papa's messages. When I came out, if I talk, it's fire they hear. So they forget whether I'm arrogant or I'm not arrogant. The day prayer is removed from it, that day to become what? Arrogance. You don't know how men rule. Instead of manipulating people, he said Epaphras is one of you. Colossians 4:12. A bond servant of Christ, laboring fervently for you in prayers, that you may be complete. You may stand perfect and complete in all the will of God. The man didn't bother about the lady who is not responding. He goes to the altar. I can change it there. If I change it from there, a moment she will want to come and do it herself. But because there are no sons, we use the way of strategy. So you visit the person in the person's house and say, you know the church needs you. How do you know you are a mighty woman of God? Which mighty woman of God doesn't come to church? Somebody is not coming to church. You say, mighty woman of God. How? Instead of going to her house, go to the altar and call her from there. It's the way of sons. You think you listen to messages because they are telling you new things? No. Most times you hear it, you have heard everything they've said before. But it's fresh every morning. Because it comes from the womb of the Spirit. If it ceases to come from there, it can no longer build a generation. It's the way of sons. Please sit down.